Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel where we discuss all things logistics. Today I'm going to quickly show you how to navigate the load board using DAT Trucker's Edge. Now I am not sponsored by DAT. I'm just simply showing you what is most commonly used, and this is one of the most commonly used load boards. I personally prefer RTS Financial, being that it's a more exclusive load board and not everyone has access to it, which is why I'm not doing a video on that one, is because the only way you gain access is if you have an owner operator who is factoring through them. So since not everyone has access, I'm going to show you what is most commonly used, which is the DAT Trucker's Edge. So we're going to get right into it. Right here you can see I clicked search loads. And then once I get right here, this says origin, meaning where do I want my owner operator to pick up the load from. Now, the operator that I am looking for a load for right now is going to be picking up in Iowa. Well, he's going to be dropping off in Iowa City tomorrow. So I want him to pick up from Iowa City tomorrow as well, his next load. So right here, I will type in Iowa City. Well, it's generating for me. So right here, we have Iowa City, Iowa. Right here is asking deadhead origin. DHO is deadhead origin, meaning how many miles is my owner operator willing to travel to the location where he has to pick up the commodity. So that would be deadhead origin. My operator does not want to travel more than 150 miles to pick up his load. So right here, I put 150 for deadhead origin. Destination. I'm not going to put anything here because when you do that, you kind of, it filters everything. So you really limit yourself when you put in a destination. Now, the only time I tend to use and fill in the destination area is if my owner operator is trying to get to a specific location. If he's trying to get home, then I will put that destination in because it limits it drastically. In this case, he's not going home yet, so I'm going to leave that blank. Right here, deadhead delivery, same thing. I'm going to leave it at the 150. Now, right here is truck type. If they have a dry van, you would do van standard, flatbed, reefer, conestoga, containers, and so on and so forth. It also shows you on the right what the abbreviation would be when you're looking at everything. So in my case, my owner operator has a van, a dry van. When you look down here, it goes through hazardous materials, tankers, all of that. But as I said, my owner operator has a dry van. So I'm going to click van. I know that his dry van can haul a load that is up to 53 feet, but again, I'm not going to limit myself, so I'm going to leave that blank. Now, when it comes to weight, part of your carrier profile should be asking your owner operator how much he can haul or how much she can haul. That is something that you should have that information already, because even though we know a dry van can haul 45,000 pounds, that may not be the case for your owner operator. They may not want to go to the max. They may not want to push it to the limit. Maybe it's time for, some work to be done and they don't want to put the max weight on there. So always ask how much they want to haul. Don't just assume because the truck has the ability to haul that amount that your owner operator wants to haul that amount. So in my case, my owner operator does not mind the full 45,000 pounds that it can carry. Right here it's asking, do you want a full or partial load? With a 53-foot dry van that can carry 45,000 pounds, you have the ability, or my owner operator, should I say, has the ability to carry either or. So I'm going to put both. Now, right here is asking for look back hours, meaning how old do you want some of these loads to be? In my case, I don't want it to have been on the load board for more than 8 hours. And that's the furthest I go back. However, I start at 1 to 2 hours because I'm going for the most recent. So I just put 2 hours in. And then my operator is going to get to Iowa City tomorrow to drop the load that he already has, and then he'll be picking up another one. So I need to be putting a pickup date of tomorrow, since that's when he will be ready to pick up the load. So now that I have all my information put in, I'm going to hit search. Now that I've hit search, I'm going to go through and show you what everything means. So let's scroll down a bit. All right. So we have here, we see that this has been on the load board for just 1 minute. It's a pickup for tomorrow, which is what I'm looking for. This one is picking up in Fairfield, Iowa. It is 71 deadhead miles to origin from Iowa City. So that means that my operator would have to do 71 deadhead miles to pick up the commodity, which is fine because my operator is willing to go 150. This load in particular is going to Macomb, Illinois, and the total miles is 104. They want a drive-in. You see that with the V. A 53 foot. We passed that as well. And it is a 21,442 pound load. It is a full load, not a partial. Right here, this check mark is basically letting us know that they can get factored. They're approved for factoring through DAT, which is good to know. They have a 97 credit score. Now that goes up to 100, and I make sure I stay at 95 and above. I don't go below 95. And right here, this is how many days it's going to take this company to pay out, or how many days it could take on average for this company to pay out. So right here, I already see this is the company, Coyote Logistics. This is their phone number that I will call if I were interested in this. And then I know that it would be $550 that they're trying to pay for this load. Now, if I wanted to know how much they're paying per mile, I would simply take the 550 and I would divide it by the amount of miles, which is 104. That means, divided by 104. That means that this is paying $5.28 per mile, which is very good. So we're going to click here and see a little bit more about the company over here in this right-hand section. And so what I see is that over the last 15 days, on average, this same load has paid $611. So they're offering 550. I'll look down and I see this company only has 2.5 stars. They have some reviews, so you can click here and it'll tell you exactly why they have 2.5 stars. For some reason, it's been acting a little crazy today, but let's see if it works. Oh, okay, it did work. And if you scroll down, we'll see why they have the stars they have. Great company to work with. You can book a load directly from their website. We used to like working with Coyote. Now they're just another rate shopping broker. Uh, so on and so forth. Yes, great company to work with. Bad communication. Broker hung up the phone without giving any reason. Um, Coyote is the best. Broker hangs up without giving reason. So a couple of times it seems like the broker hung up on people. But you can decide if this is something you would like to be bothered with based on the information. But as you can see, they have a good credit score and they typically pay out within 21 days. As you scroll down, we already know this is 21,442 pounds. So in the comment section, it says load is ready now, and it has a reference number. So when you call them, 9 times out of 10, they're going to ask you for the reference number. This is what they're asking for. This is what they want to know. And this load is covered by DAT Assurance, meaning if for some reason this company doesn't pay out, DAT Assurance will pay you out depending on what package you have, and they will start collections for you on your end. They take on everything. And they only do this for certain ones that are booked through them. So this one is covered through DAT Assurance, so that is good as well. And again, ready now. So when you call them, you would pretty much be giving them that reference number and saying, hi, I'm interested in the load. And they will be asking for the motor carrier number of your owner operator. Now, for me, since I see that they've paid $611 over the last 15 days, I will go ahead and say, can you give it to me for $650? At worst, they would say $600 or $615, something around there, but just be willing to negotiate. Don't just accept this. Don't feel like you have to, especially when you see on average it's paid $611. Now, while it is awesome that it's paying like over $5 per mile, you still do not want to shortchange yourself or miss out on the opportunity to make more money for yourself and your owner operator. And this is pretty much what it will look like. Now, there are some like here where you don't see anything. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to say, if you were to click book, this is if you were, this will take you to the company's website. And this is more so if you were a part of their network. You would just click book. That would mean that your information or your owner operator's information is already in their system. So if you always do loads for them, you're probably already in their system and you will book it through this way. Or you can just call the number if you are not already in their system. So in this case, you would just call the number. So for these, this has no amount right here. So when you call them, you need to call with an amount. I wouldn't say, oh, don't be scared because you don't see a number. If you're trying to figure out how much, then a part of your carrier profile should have already asked your owner operator how much they would like to get paid per mile. So if you see that this is 132 miles of travel, then you can just multiply according to what your owner operator said they want. So if they said they don't want to accept anything less than $2.50 per mile, you would take $2.50 and multiply that by 132 miles, and that'll get you $330. And you'll know to ask for, okay, I need to be at least asking for $330. I would go ahead, you for 132 miles, you can probably get $400 out of them. You can click here and it may let you know, look at this right here. Well, this has been canceled, but it also had let you know that on average, this has gone for $607. So don't just limit yourself again. If we would have just did the $2.50 multiplied by 132 and said, and called them and said, hey, give me 330 for it. Of course, they would be like, sure, go ahead right away. You can take it. You can take it, because that's half of what it's paying on average. So always make sure you're using all of your resources and looking through this information. In this case, they have a reference number. Again, when you call, if it's a reference number there, 9 times out of 10, that's what they're going to ask you for. They're not going to ask you what's the origin, what's this, what's that. They're going to say, what's the reference number? So this should give you an idea of what this will look like when you're navigating the load board. This is not something that you have to be afraid of. Outside of the load board, make sure you're using your other resources. Make sure you're talking to shippers and talking to different brokers and just filling up your pipeline so that you're not limited to only the load board. You can get down to the point where you're just making phone calls directly to brokers and booking loads for your owner operators. So I hope this helps you know how to navigate the load board. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments section, and I will see you next time. So if you've enjoyed this video and you want to continue to educate yourself on all things logistics, please like, share, and subscribe. And also remember, with all things logistics, you are in business for yourself, but never by yourself. I'll see you next time.